Hello, I'm David Frazier, the President and Chief Market Strategist of Frazier and Mayer Research, LLC, and of course the editor of our individual investor service, Frazier's Strategic Allocator. We're recording this week's video on April 18th in the afternoon, and a few things to cover, not a lot. Give you a heads up, discuss briefly what's affecting the financial markets, what has been over the past few weeks, and my guess is you're probably well aware of that, but I'll at least give you my thoughts to briefly discuss our portfolio holdings and some new holdings or new positions that I've been thinking of adding to those model portfolios, recommending to you, our clients and subscribers, and to show you some new information that's accessible on our internet website. Okay, excuse me please. So what's going on in the markets? You know, we've had a pullback since March 2nd. We have held above some key price support levels, that is regarding the major U.S. stock market indices, and you know, we've fallen to oversold levels. So I think there's a good chance, a better chance than not, that stocks in general are going to remain at worst near their current levels over the next few weeks. And the longer term outlook for stocks in general, and most importantly for securities that I've recommended to you, our clients and subscribers, I remain confident that those securities are going to perform well for us. Otherwise, I would have told you to get out of them. So, you know, what's affecting the markets? Well, it's pretty clear, you know, at least to me, and, you know, I think it probably, you know, it should be to you. It's this political wrangling that's going on. I mean, my gosh, you know, whether you like Donald Trump or not, whether you agree with his policies or not, the fact of the matter is, he's gotten a lot done in terms of things that he has control over, such as issuing executive orders to substantially reduce government regulations of businesses here in the United States, to reduce governmental costs and expenses, to try to make the country safer against foreign terrorist attacks and activities, to try to find a solution to illegal immigration. You know, he's gotten a lot done, and I commend him for that. You know, some of you might not. You might disagree with his policies, but I don't know why anyone would not want to keep the country safer against foreign terrorists. I don't know why anyone would be against reducing government regulations of businesses. I don't know why anyone would be against trying to reduce government cost in this country. So, you know, I think he's done a lot of positive things, but, you know, he only has a limited control over what the Congress does. And I think it's just horrendous. It's just horrendous what the Congress has not done for many years now. I mean, you know, I'll just let this come out, my emotional thinking regarding Congress. You know, I mean, for the most part, these people disgust me. I mean, I hope you have a good congressperson that represents you wherever you live in the country, and a good senator in the state that you live. What I mean by good, a person that looks out for your and your family's interests. But boy, I tell you, a lot of these guys, you know, at least in the Senate, they're there for 30 plus years. You know, they live a country club life. And what do? They don't do much of anything. You know, they just give a lot of speeches and find ways to make promises to their constituents or their purported constituents to get reelected so that they have cushy jobs. But boy, that's about it. You know, and I think what we've seen recently is the Republicans who now control the Congress, both the House and the Senate, you know, they've been complaining about the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, for more than 8 years. Well, my gosh, couldn't they have put together some solid plans during that period that in the event that they were to take control of the Congress, which they have now, that they could have come up with some solutions? It's just pitiful. It's really, really pitiful. And I'm sure it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, we want to find ways to reduce premiums. And personally, I don't think that's terribly difficult. What do? You find ways to create more competition between insurers. You allow insurers to compete across state lines. You get rid of the right to cover people with pre-existing conditions on insurance. I'm going to come back to that. But you still find, so you take those off. You don't force insurance companies to cover people with pre-existing conditions. The fact of the matter is, if they do, then it's really not insurance. You insure against risk, not known facts, not known problematic facts. But, you just don't forget about those people. My God, unless you're a multi-millionaire and you have some type of problematic physical condition, such as cancer, you're going to go bankrupt if there's not something out there from the government to protect you and to help you. But get these people off private insurance. Don't force insurance companies to cover this. And if you need to come up with a new system that everyone in the country needs to contribute to cover people with pre-existing conditions, I can't imagine who would be against that. But I could go on and on and on. Obviously, I don't know what they talk about and what they do or what they don't do. But this is causing a problem for what we do and what I do and regarding your financial market investments and speculations. And how so? Well, there was a statement made by the Treasury Secretary yesterday, Steven Mnuchin, whereby he said that as a result of a new health care bill not getting passed, that there's probably going to be some delay in implementing President Trump's tax proposals. And, and I'm quite certain that's why stocks in general here in the U.S. sold off today on Tuesday, April 18, because of those comments. Now, he did go on to say that in his opinion, he's still confident that there will be some tax reform by the end of this year. And late this afternoon, the U.S. Congress put out an announcement claiming that the Ways and Means Committee, this is a committee that has some control, a lot of control over tax laws, plans to begin working on tax proposals next week. But this is all talk. I think a lot of us are tired of talk. We want something to be done. And so I don't know what's going to happen. My thinking is, for all I know, President Trump suggested to Mr. Mnuchin to make the comment that he did yesterday regarding a likely delay in tax reform, simply to put pressure on the Congress. I don't know. But this is causing a problem. And it's probably going to need to be addressed pretty darn quickly and something actually done, progress be made regarding tax proposals. Or we might see what happened when Reagan came into office back in 1981, and that is from late 1980 to early 1981, stocks in general here in the United States rallied sharply. But then they, after a few months that Reagan was in office, he had tax proposals, but it took time to get them passed. I think they were passed in August of that year, so that was actually pretty darn quick. But stocks fell apart. And then, of course, in mid-1982, they bottomed, and then they rallied through the end of the decade. But, okay, enough about that. So what are we doing, or what am I doing about it, and to try to help you to position your financial market holdings correctly? Well, first of all, let's just go briefly through our portfolios. Our fixed income portfolio, all of those securities have continued to perform well. They've held up very well, and that's not really surprising, actually, because when you get in these uncertain environments about people's thinking on where stocks in general are headed, in the future. What do? They tend to, big portfolio managers, institutional investors tend to reduce their holdings in cyclical and growth stocks and add to their holdings in so-called defensive stocks, income type of securities. So it's not surprising that they've held up. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit. I think hopefully all of you would agree with me that hold some of those securities. I've made some good recommendations for those fixed income positions. So I think we're fine in those positions. And then when we go to our growth and income portfolio, well, most of the stocks that compose our fixed income model portfolio are also in our growth and income portfolio, and that's those positions have helped to balance out and support the overall performance of our growth and income portfolio. But let me take a quick look here. Let me just go to that portfolio. One moment, please. But primarily our infrastructure recommendations, my infrastructure recommendations, they haven't actually fallen apart. They've moved sideways actually over the past couple of months. So maybe I'm I've been a little bit bothered by this, but I'm looking at Caterpillar's traded sideways for the most part. Granite Construction had pulled back from late January to early April, but then it rallied over the past few weeks. Let's see. Let me continue. While our medical devices fund is it's done very well and has held up. But we have had a pullback in this Guggenheim shipping ETF. Not a big pullback. We have had a fairly considerable pullback in Vulcan Materials, and we've gotten hit hard in Cliffs, which once again, my stupidity, I contemplated very seriously a few months ago, advising you, our clients and shareholders, to sell that when we were up, over 30%, I think, and now we're down. I've taken a big hit. I have a lot of money in that security. But I think even Cliffs, it looks like it is bottoming out. And I think we're going to be okay in that. But, I'll continue to monitor it every day. One thing we never want to do is hope. Never, ever hope regarding the financial markets. Evaluate and make decisions to protect yourself when you see risk that you think you might not be comfortable with. So I guess we're doing okay overall in that portfolio too. But then when we go to our speculative portfolio, which is comprised of numerous infrastructure related securities, not only Caterpillar or Granite Construction and Cliffs Natural Resources, but also a copper ETF. Yeah, that copper ETF actually has held up okay. I'm surprised. Our silver ETF, our steel ETF has pulled back considerably. And, we're getting hit hard in Tesla. I've been wrong on that for the relatively short term. So I guess we're doing okay, but I don't like to just do okay, and I don't think you want to do just okay. You didn't pay me to help you do okay. You paid me to subscribe to the service, that is, to outperform. But I really remain confident that we're going to be fine in our overall holdings. I'm just a little annoyed by our infrastructure holdings, and I'm annoyed because indirectly we're being affected by Congress's inaction. And that's something I don't have any control over, and I simply did not think we were going to see the inaction that we've seen. So, but we're going to need to see some action soon. If we don't, we're going to make some changes to these portfolios. We're not going to just sit in them and then hope our infrastructure holdings come back. We'll make changes accordingly if Congress doesn't start to act on Trump's tax proposals. Now, regarding one other comment regarding our fixed income portfolio, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I'm monitoring closely some hotel REITs and still monitoring them, but there's no need to rush into them. And it's a very, very good chance I'm going to recommend them. I just don't know when that might be. I said a couple weeks ago, probably in the next couple weeks. I think I said a week ago, in the next few days. But given what's been going on in the markets, I thought, let me just hold off on those a bit and to minimize our risk. Now, one other comment. We're going to wrap this up. I've mentioned our website in the past, and I'm going to mention it again because I've continued to improve that website, and I've been contemplating for some time making this a subscriber-only website. A lot of what is at our website, you can get other places, but can you get it all in one place? And the answer is you really can't. I provide a lot of information on our website. And so I encourage you to go there at investorsmonitor.com, investorsmonitor.com. On a daily basis, I will make comments regarding the latest economic developments, both here in the United States and other major regions of the world, on U.S. political developments, on international geopolitical developments and factors and developments that are likely to affect the financial markets and the value of your financial market portfolios. One thing that I did just a couple of days ago, at the top, or I shouldn't say, right below our menu items, I added a scrolling ticker feature that on that scrolling ticker, what I've done is I've included what you'll see in that scrolling ticker, the performance throughout the day. This is live, by the way, these quotes on the Dow, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ Composite Index, the S&P Mid-Cap Index, the Russell 2000 Index, also on major foreign stock markets such as the FTSE Index, the Eurozone ETF Index, China Shanghai Composite Index, India's Sensex Index, Brazil's Bovespa Index, also on gold, on precious metals essentially, so gold, and on silver, also on commodities, the Commodity Research Bureau's Spot Index, platinum, palladium, what else is in there? Copper, also on the U.S. dollar index, as well as what else is there? I can't remember. An intermediate bond fund, and I use it personally because I can just go there and I know this is real time, and I can just look at that ticker and I know what's going on in major markets around the world, as well as not just equity markets, but the U.S. bond market, the commodity markets, the precious metals markets, and I think it's very helpful. So I encourage you to go there. Also, on a daily basis, every day of the week, I make comments
in the upper left-hand corner regarding my forecast for today, what's going to happen in the markets. And, my thinking is probably most of you, our clients and subscribers, are intermediate to long-term investors. You're not short-term traders, but some of you might want to do some trading in the markets. And I can tell you, I'm going to create an archive to show the history of everything that I've said in the past. And the reason, most people don't ever want to do that because at best they're right maybe 30% of the time. But I can tell you, since I've been doing this over the past few weeks, I've been right every day. I've been right in what's and how the overall U.S. stock market, the major market indices, performed throughout that day. There's some other features. Company and stock news. You'll see a table if you scroll down on the home page, stock recommendations. And what this actually is, because stock recommendations are not for free, they'll either be stocks that I'm monitoring or stocks that I've recommended to you, our clients and subscribers, but at some point in the past, not in the past few days. My gosh, that wouldn't be fair to you because you guys have paid for this type of information. But and you can click on the links on any of those recommendations in that table, and you'll be taken to a chart
that's somewhat real time. It's a minute delay, so they're updated automatically every minute. So
I just encourage you to go to the site. You know, there's a lot of information there, and some of you might not care. You know, you don't want to do your own research, and that's what you pay me to do. But some of you, there's might be some features here that might be of interest to you. I'm going to wrap it up for there by saying I'm comfortable with all of our holdings. I am a little concerned about our infrastructure holdings because of what's not getting done by the Congress and potentially delaying the implementation of Trump's tax proposals, as well as infrastructure investments. A little bit concerned, but I don't get, I'm not worried. Worry doesn't get you anywhere. I'm monitoring them closely. I'm monitoring what's going on in the Congress, and as I said, if I do get concerned that they're not going to turn around, then I'm going to make some changes. Okay, that's it. I thank you for watching and listening, and I'll speak with you again next week.